So one of my hobbies is writing, and while not much has come of that endeavor, it's still really fun to do, and I enjoy doing it even still. And so about 2 years ago, right, I created this idea for a story. The working title was The Aeronauts, and it was basically it took place in this magical world where the only way you can get magic was to harness it from these giant pink clouds that was called dragon's breath. And while you were inside the cloud, you were basically in this other magical realm until the all of it was collected. Within the cloud, though, there were dragons, quote unquote, these creatures that didn't look like the traditional dragons, but that's what they were called, and they had to fend them off while collecting the dragon's breath. And it was that substance condensed was used to power all the machinery in the world. And the story followed a crew of aeronauts that traveled around the world, racing other aeronauts for this substance, living in the skies, living for themselves. And that's the exact same plot of this show. Granted, that's not entirely true, because in this show they chase the dragons themselves and not the actual clouds that the dragons hide in. But even still, it hurt a little bit watching this and just thinking about all the waste of time and hours dedicated to that story. But whatever. I have others. Keep moving forward. All that said, I actually did really enjoy this first episode because who'd have thought I liked the premise. Right off the bat, right, I have to say that I'm generally not the biggest fan of 3D animes. Not that I have anything against the genre, but I don't personally think the technology is there yet to really compete against properly done 2D animation. That being said, this show is probably the best attempt I've seen. And yeah, the show is gorgeous throughout. The movement is generally fluid. And since they spend most of the time in the sky because they're aeronauts and they man an airship, the company and the studio behind this takes care to make sure that the sky looks interesting and beautiful. It can be pretty stagnant sometimes, but they put a lot of sunsets, a lot of sunrises, like clouds and tons of stars. And I really appreciated the effort. And yeah, A for that, because the show looks gorgeous throughout. So it starts out, right, these aeronauts hunting this dragon in this cloud, a pink cloud, mind you, but I'm gonna move past I'm gonna move past that. I'm gonna have to at this point. Just move past it, Kevin. Just let it go. Just let it go. It's in the past, and it was probably made better than you ever could. So they're hunting down this dragon, right? And because they need the meat for resources, because it seems like they collect them, they dissect them, butcher them basically, and then spread their meat and resources as commerce or whatever. So they're hunting them, and they have the dragon tethered to their ship, and they have this line where it's like, if it gets too wild, the meat will get worse. But how though? I mean, maybe I don't understand that much about meat, but why and how will it get worse? Does it get too tender? Do you not want to destroy the body too much? These things are pretty big. I doubt they'll ruin all of it. Or at least I doubt most of it will get ruined because of this. But I don't know. Maybe dragons like release some toxin or whatever. I don't know. It just seemed a bit weird to me. So this episode basically follows two characters. There's a whole crew, and I'm sure we'll meet most of them. But the two main characters it kind of follows is this girl named Takita. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. She's kind of like the rookie, the new bright-eyed member of the crew. And she's like still a bit naive, and she's just happy to be there because she wants to live a life of adventure. And they also introduce the main the female. I almost said female again. They also introduced the main male lead. His name is Mika, and it's just some guy the guy just loves dragon meat and he wants to get it. And I can appreciate that because their life does seem pretty fun and adventure filled. You know, you live for yourselves, you travel around the world, you hunt these animals. That last one isn't as fun as the other two, in my opinion. But whatever, man. If that's a thing you like to do, you live for yourselves. You live off the land. They're modern day mountain men, except not modern because it doesn't seem like it takes place in the modern day. But whatever. So the show opens up, and they're hunting this dragon, and they do kill it, and they take it. They take it back to a nearby town to sell the resources, and they have this line, like the narration kicks in, like right before or right after the opening. I don't remember. So the narration kicks in, and it's just this girl saying like, "Oh, yeah, we go around chasing dragons that swim through the sky. We chase them in the west, in the east, in the south, in the north." Okay, so just in the sky, then? Did you need to say every direction if like you're going in every direction? It's just the sky. You go wherever they are. That's all you have to say. But they do have this line that like not many dragons are left. So I guess they're going down the vein of like the buffalo, that they're just being overhunted, which is sad, frowny face. But hey, man, what are they gonna do? Just stop making a living? Just stop killing these gorgeous creatures that fly around and are magical? Ridiculous. They need steak, guy. How dare I suggest that? So yeah, they live off the dragons, and they take the time to say that they don't have a home port, and that they sort of just live for themselves and roam around the world hunting these creatures. And that brings up a couple of interesting things, right? For one, like, if they're not working for any governing body, right? They don't work for any government. So they're essentially sanctioned poachers, or just like pirates, right? So if they're working for themselves, why do they have a uniform? It doesn't seem like there's any real official reason for them to need the uniform. Whatever. I mean, I'm all for it. They made them wear uniforms on the Nautilus, right? That's a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea reference for those of you landlubbers. Also, they go to this town, and they're selling the dragon meat, and apparently there's like this superstition about draking vessels, which really only takes 2 seconds worth of thought to disprove. So basically the idea is like, wherever draking vessels are, dragons show up and attack people. But really, they're supposed to go where the dragons are, right? They go where these creatures are so that they can hunt them. It's not the other way around. But whatever, there's a superstition. I mean, I can't really say that isn't realistic because flat earthers still exist, so my hands are tied here, guys. I'm sorry. Also, there's an association. Like, there's this bald dude who's really rude, and he's like, hey, you guys aren't even registered with the association. So, like, if there is an official organization out there hunting these things, and they're not registered, so they are pirates. So again, why the uniform? I know it sounds like I'm stuck on a small thing. I'm stuck on my words too. But I'm stuck on a small thing. But I don't know. It just really bothered me. Like, these people don't work for anyone but themselves, but they still have to wear uniforms. Well, maybe it's just the captain's rules or the house rules or whatever. But whatever. Oh, and like, there's a scene where Mika just sniffs the girl because he's a creep, I guess. But whatever. So like, Mika loves, besides being a creep, he's also, I guess, like a connoisseur of dragon meats. He just sort of loves the stuff. He loves cooking it. And like, there's a scene where like he and Takata, yeah, I think that's her name, and Takata are like, I guess, bonding over like talking about the job. And he makes what essentially is a sandwich, and everyone is like, hey man, share with us. That looks delicious. What do you mean share it? It's a sandwich. Just make your own. It's just like a weird scene where they act like no one had ever thought of this creation. And the way he puts it together doesn't seem that hard either. It's just a sandwich, guys. What's so special about it? Like, everyone goes crazy about it. And I'm going crazy thinking about why they're going crazy. But whatever. So they're fighting over a sandwich, and then the townspeople come back after they had already left them onto their ship. And the townspeople come back, and they're like, hey, there's another dragon in the other town. You guys got to go kill it. And they're like, I mean, yeah, I guess it's our job. Okay, cool. No one really wants to, but again, it's their job, but whatever. I guess Miko wants to because, he loves dragon meat. And I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I really like the designs of the dragons in this show. They don't really look like traditional dragons, and I really dig that. Although I have a hard time believing that they have red meat in them. The entire time they're treated like the meat is treated like it's beef. Like these things are giant sky cows. But honestly, they look more like deep sea creatures than they do cows or traditional dragons. They even have bioluminescence. So like, yeah, is it red meat? I have a hard time believing it's beef, but it's a fantasy world. Maybe I shouldn't overthink that. So yeah, they're fighting another dragon in a nearby town, and it's bigger than the last one. And they take it on, and the thing's actually attacking them. And it turns out this thing is the mother of the last one we killed this morning. And they're like, oh well, damn, don't we feel like bad people? But not really though. Only the new girl, the rookie, feels like she feels guilty for having killed the baby dragon. And then Mika's like, hey, I know you feel bad, but you better shut that down because this thing is trying to kill us. And in all honesty, I'm kind of on his side. I mean, they're hunters or poachers, however you want to define it. It doesn't seem like they're registered, right? So, like, they're poachers. What did she think the job was? You can't feel bad about it. I'm sorry. I, as the viewer, feel bad because they're magical creatures that are going extinct, but I'm not in their line of work. If I were, I'd get over it too. So he's like, hey, I know you feel bad, but shut that down. And then she shuts that down. And then there's an action sequence. They kill the mama dragon. And frowny face. But yeah, there's an action sequence. They kill the mama dragon. And then they just go back to town to celebrate. And, and I guess one of the girls is a drinker. I don't know why that made me laugh. Maybe I'll be a drunk too if I had that job. So yeah, guys, that was the first episode of Drifting Dragons, and first impressions, mostly positive. I like the animation. I think it's gorgeous. The action sequences were fun. These creatures are well designed. I want to know more about the world. Are they pirates? Are they not? Why are they wearing uniforms? And just because, it's an idea I had that I feel like I can no longer do moving forward, mostly because knowing this exists, I'd feel like I'd just be ripping it off. But whatever. I'm excited to see where the show goes. And thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Or not. I'm not the boss of you. Have a good day.